вроде у меня все включено. Я когда-то ее уже проходил. Сама игрушка, она посредственная, скажем прямо. Просто ради того, что вот сюжет чисто один в один в книгу просто. А книга по Эйзенхорну, трилогия есть. Ну, тут как бы одна из книг только. Это, наверное, одни из лучших книг по Вархаммеру 40 тысяч. Вот. Естественно, к сожалению, на инглише, поэтому уж тут сорян. Ничего, к сожалению, не могу с этим сделать. Официального никакого издания на русском не было. Че, поехали? Ага. Ага, секундочку, у меня тут телефон садится, надо переподключить его. Чтобы чат давал просто. Я комп отключил, он хотя бы не разрядится. А то чата здесь оверлея нету. Поэтому если я что-то не отвечу, значит у меня лаганул чат. Сорян, поэтому, если что. Так, ну поехали. В кораблях, да ничего, просто поиграл, прикольно было так. Поугарал под ром с колой.
The past is a mirror to the future. Or so a friend once said to me. I did not believe it then. I do now. The past walks with us. Its face is the face of all those we have hated. All we have loved, all we have failed. They say that to be an agent of the Imperial Inquisition is to see the true horror of the universe and still have the will to prevail. As with all things, there is another face to the truth. I have looked on the terrors of the universe and cast them down. I have judged billions and forgiven some. I have known victory and touched defeat. And the lesson that all my years as an Inquisitor have taught me is that it is not enough to prevail. We have to endure the poison of history. We have to survive our own sins. My name is Gregor Eisenhorn, and these deeds were mine. Hunting the recidivist Murdin Iklone, I came to Hubris in the dormant of 240.M41, as the Imperial sidereal calendar has it. Dormant lasted 11 months of Hubris's 29-month lunar year, and the only signs of life were the custodians patrolling the precincts of the hibernation tombs. Where are the tomb's custodians?
They are making their rounds.
Knowing we approach? Knowing we expect to meet them?
I will check.
had heard of the bitter cold and prayed to the Emperor that I would never feel it again.
Ну, в общем, играя за Инквизитора, прибыли на эту планету, преследуя опасного еретика. Ну, если так кратко.
How?
Stay back.
Processional 212 was a hibernation tomb at the west end of the Great Imperial Avenue. It housed 12,142 members of the hubris ruling elite. Be careful, Loris. You know how dangerous Cyclone is.
He's an animal, a dangerous one, but we'll put him down.
We have him cornered. That'll make him more of a threat than ever. Watch your back.
You too, Eisenhorn.
Ну, собственно говоря, разделяются они, что нехорошо закончится для его помощницы. Как это и было все в книге. Тут в данном случае сюжет полностью. Ну, как раз видно, что в системах, криосистемах второго уровня произошел какой-то сбой. Собственно говоря, я так понимаю, она пошла сюда, а нам нужно идти будет налево. Сама игрушка с планшетов была на комп как бы портирована, поэтому здесь довольно простенькая боевая система и прочее. То есть играть стоит исключительно ради сторилайна, но никак не ради геймплея. Ну и, конечно, если посмотреть чисто вот на мир Вахи, без космодесантников. Потому что космодесантники уже надоели, их всюду пихают.
I admit I was excited, eager to close and conclude a business that had lasted 6 years. Cyclone had evaded me for 6 whole years. I studied his methods every day and dreamed of him every night. Now, I could smell him.
Это типа как бы гибернационные капсулы.
Rows and rows of ice berths ranged down the smooth basalt chambers.
В
It
общем,
was like walking into the Imperium's grandest morgue.
на этом мире, короче, ну так просто, чтобы понимание было. На этом мире он вращается по очень нестабильной орбите, и в моменты, когда типа он уходит, как бы, ну, грубо говоря, от Солнца далеко, там, типа, ночь спускается на долгое время, там, чуть ли не на полгода, элита и всякое этого мира, ну и, в принципе, все жители, как бы, грубо говоря, в гибернационные капсулы ложатся, чтобы, типа, переждать этот период. Поэтому это, как бы, вот такие вот огромнейшие комплексы. Собственно говоря, вот у нас здесь Матиус Саутхелл. Гробница 12003. Мужчина, 24 года, состояние стандартное. И, собственно, еретик по каким-то непонятным, ну, пока еще непонятным причинам сюда прибыл. Introduction в битву.
Their eyes were dark and unforthcoming, as though they had done this mindlessly, by order.
здесь не пройти. Это экшен-адвенчур, поэтому, естественно, здесь и лазить придется прилично. Блин, не открыл сундук.
All my life, I have had a reputation for being cold, unfeeling. I am not, but I possess a singular force of will. To feel pain, fear, or grief is a luxury I cannot afford. Throughout my career, it has served me well to steel myself against all that this wretched galaxy can throw at me. Loris Vibben had served with me for 5.5 years. In that period, she had saved my life twice. When I recruited her from the clan slums of Tornish, it was for her combat skills. But I came to value her for her sharp mind, soft wit, and clear head. I stared down at her body for a moment. I believe I may have uttered her name. I made a promise to myself. I would kill Iclone with this gun.
Люкс анимации. Жалко, что... вот сундук мне жалко, я хотел его открыть. Ну ладно, ничего, в принципе, страшного.
Eisnor? Gregor, is that you? You're dead, you know, Gregor. Dead like they all are. Step out and make it quick. He was good. I'll give him that. My legs actually twitched, almost starting to walk me clear of cover into the open. Iclone was infamous across a dozen settled systems for his mind powers and mesmeric tone. How else had he managed to get these dark-eyed fools to do his bidding? But I have similar skills, and I have honed them well. Show yourself first.
Что у меня с ХП это восстанавливается, я не помню или нет. В общем, окрасилась красным, пробуждение начало Iclone, причем поскольку оно не запланировано, то, естественно, все эти персонажи откинутся, что называется. То есть массовый, по сути, геноцид. А почему меня сбросилось, я не помню. Наверное, потому что я новую игру начал. Не столь важно. Приветствую, Олоден. Да, не спится. Он меня выловил ВКонтакте, пока я там занимался по работе. Денег мало осталось там. Решил заняться. Но я что-то подумал, почему бы не сделать чего-нибудь. Завтра доделаю.
What makes you think you can catch me this time, Gregor? You've failed so many times before.
Так, теперь надо будет закрыть клапан где-то, чтобы пройти. А может и нет. Может, я уже забыл просто. Не, надо. Здесь не пройти так. Все понял. Он заканчивается. Черт.
Admit it, Gregor. You don't want to kill me. You want to join me.
Sleepers were waking, their frigid bodies sore with hibernation sickness, trapped in their caskets with no one to aid them. I bid Betancourt alert the custodians. Apparently relief crews were on their way. But why? Why was Iclone doing this?
Понятно.
Almost got you, Gregor.
You're only stretching this out, Iclone.
Feeling cold, Eisenhorn? You'll join these corpses soon.
I hesitated. A merciful headshot would have spared her everything. But once awake, the hierarchy of hubris would not understand a mercy killing. Do you think me weak? Flawed? To set my duty before her suffering? I would gladly ignore one life in agony if I could save 100, 1,000 more. For I have the moral strength required of an Inquisitor. Mankind must suffer, so that mankind can survive. It's that simple. But to this day, I still dream of the slow death to which I abandoned her.
Ну, как раз начали просыпаться, как бы эти люди уже, ну, из-за того, что это неправильное пробуждение, они, естественно, все умирают.
Screaming, the pounding. God, Emperor, help me, I will never forget that. Thousands of frantic souls waking up to face an agonizing death. cryogenerators had come from the ships that first carried humans to this world. The tombs had been raised around them and kept operating for thousands of years.
Здесь бессмысленно выходить.
This was where iClone's men had artificially triggered the revival process. A key component of this mysterious device had been removed.
Ау, ау.
Almost, Gregor.
Сейчас надо глянуть, что здесь. И что у меня по монетам? Так, 1200. Все, 5000, значит, стоит. Занлочу это ж... 2250. Тоже еще 50 монет нужно. Можно печать, там, этот свиток добавить, который ХП будет добавлять, или урон рукопашный. Отлично, теперь можно приобрести. Сегодня будет хп на 10% больше. Что, в общем-то, неплохо. Так, стоп. Ага, вот двери. Нет, нет, не появится уже. Здесь просто можно потом отдельно перепроходить уровни и деньги зарабатывать. Но это как бы уже потом, если захочется, все открыть. То есть фармить нет, так нельзя.
There's nowhere left to run, recidivist.
You cannot stop us, Inquisitor. Your Imperium's days are numbered.
Perhaps, but yours ends here.
I will make you scream like the girl did. She begged us for mercy, beggar. Come join her in hell.
No more words, heretic. I punched the gun so hard into his mouth the trigger guard broke his lower teeth.
Most perturbatory.
Amos?
A codifier of unique design, similar in layout to the mind impulse units used by the hallowed Adeptus Mechanicus to govern the linkage between human brain and god machine. It may be illicit or stolen. The Adeptus Mechanicus would be most interested.
Either way, they're not going to know about it. This is inquisitorial evidence.
Quite so.
Where is this off-worlder, this Eisenhorn? Arrest him!
High Custodian.
You will be detained until...
No. I am an Inquisitor of the God Emperor of Mankind, Ordo Xenos. I will cooperate in any investigation, but you will not and cannot detain me. Do you understand?
An Inquisitor? Thousands are dead. This desecration, the highborn of hubris, violated by a...
A murderer. A follower of darkness who now lies dead under a plastic sheet on the upper landing platform. I mourn the great loss hubris has suffered tonight. But if I had not been here at all to raise the alarm, Who knows what catastrophe Iclo may have wrought? Or even his overall ambition.
Iclone, the recidivist? You must brief me on this entire event.
I shall prepare a report and bring it to you. I will have questions for you too. But you have plenty to deal with right now. We made our way out. Betancourt presented the junior custodians with a formal register of evidence to be stored for my inspection. The list included the casket and the bodies of Iclone and his men. None would be tampered with or even searched until I had looked at them. Betancourt made these requirements abundantly clear. We took Vibben with us.
В общем, местные власти не особо порадовались тому, что многие умерли.
Remain on Hubris for a week, maybe longer if Carpel proved difficult. But the investigation could not wait. As soon as I returned to the gun cutter, I went to see Loink, our astropath.
Пока идет расследование, там нужно переговорить со своим астропатом на корабле.
Master?
Contact the main Astropathicus enclave here on Hubris and request a full transcript of off-world traffic for the past 6 weeks. Also any record of unlicensed traffic, individuals using their own astropaths. Whatever they can make available. And a little threat that it's an Inquisitor requiring this data wouldn't hurt.
Will you be requiring an auto-seance?
Not yet, but I will eventually. I will give you time to prepare.
Типа отдал приказ.
Is it true that the female Vibben is dead?
Yes, Loink.
Ah, I thought it was quiet.
The comment wasn't as callous as it sounded. Loris Vibben was a latent psyker. Whilst she was alive, I could hear the unconscious broadcasting of her young, eager mind. And yet my psychic abilities at the time were undeveloped compared to Loink's.
В общем, отдал приказ касаемо запросов неавторизированных кораблей и астропатических передач.
He hadn't been with me long. My previous astropath had been killed trying to translate a warp cipher 6 weeks before. I spent an hour with Amos in his cramped data slate-filled room preparing a report for Carpel. I set out the basic details, reserving anything I felt he didn't need to know. I accounted for my actions. I made Amos check them against local law. In truth, I was bulletproof against local legislation, but I wanted to check anyway. An Amalathian prides himself on working with the structures of Imperial society, not above or beyond them, or through them, as a mono-dominant might. I wanted Carpel and the senior officials of Hubris on my side, helping my investigation. Although exhausted, I could not sleep before paying one last visit to Vibben.
Midas placed Vibben's remains in her room opposite.
Loris Vibben. Twice she saved my life. She saw herself as my aide and bodyguard, but in truth, she was more a companion and fellow warrior.
Get ready. Lift off for Sun Dome in 5.
For the first time in 6 years, I did not dream about Iclone. I dreamt of something else.
Ну и типа как бы это видение, сон. Типа впервые за 6 недель ему не снился Iclone.
Alone!
Silent Hill в этот момент немножко напомнило.
Blank eyes were empty. Not like iClone's drones, but vacant, like an immense, starless distance. I had no idea who he was. At that point...
Eisenhorn.
Touchdown! Destination reached. Ready to disembark.
Так, сорян, чат падал. На русском нету. Официально не издавалось. Если только какой-нибудь фанатский русификатор, если есть. Но если ты хочешь просто сюжет узнать, просто можешь книгу открыть. Она абсолютно 100% по книге написана, то есть без любых отклонений. Так и называется Eisenhorn Xenos. это трилогия целая есть. И они даже гораздо лучше, чем игра, потому что игра на самом деле посредственная. Просто интересно посмотреть, как я и сказал, чисто без всяких спейс-маринов и прочей традиционной Warhammer тематики. Бетанкор хочет поговорить. Сорян, у меня просто чат отвалился. Не обратил внимания сразу.
Damn bright place. They have 11 months of pitch dark, so they light their habitat to an...
Вот сейчас нужно как бы на заседание прийти местного правительства.
They don't get many visitors in this season. Most of the ships here are local, trans-atmospheric. I make 3 non-locals aside from us. 2 trader launches and a private cutter.
I'd like to know how that bastard iClone got here, and how he was intending to leave again.
I'll find out. What about Vibin?
Do you know what her wishes were? Did she want her remains sent back to Tornage for burial?
I don't know, Eisenhorn. She never told me either.
Take a look through her effects. See if she left any testament or instructions. Can you do that?
I'd like to do that.
Ну, в общем, они обсуждали как бы погребение этой погибшей помощницы, и плюс, собственно говоря, что было 3 корабля замечено, которые не местные, помимо ихнего. 2 грузовых судна и 1 частный, что называется, фрахтовик. Как раз который был в этой системе.
Amos had completed his report. Now it was time to face the locals.
Ну.
It was a short trip through the overbright streets to the custodial hall. The flowers.
From the hydroponic farms on East Dome 7.
Signifying?
Morning, same as the sashes. What happened last night is a major tragedy for this world. Yellow is their holy color. I believe the local religion is a solar belief.
The sun as emperor?
Common enough. Extreme here, for obvious reasons.
High Custodian.
They are all dead. All 12,142. Processional 212 is dead. None survived the trauma.
Hubris has my sincere sympathies, High Custodian.
Your sympathies? A great part of our ruling elite die in one night, and we have your sympathies to console us.
В общем, негодуют, что у них погибло там тысячи, десятки тысяч человек.
Your arrogance astounds me, off-worlder. You bring this
Что
monster
ты привел этого монстра на наш мир, сражался с ним через наши наиболее охраняемые санктумы. Подождите, я пришел сюда, чтобы спасти вас и не позволить обтучиться планом Айклона. Типа не нарушил никаких ваших законов. Я был осторожен, чтобы не нарушать покоя вашего, чьей моей работы. Что вы знаете, типа. Они не регистрировали никаких кораблей, кроме нашего.
Amos? The supports are early Imperial Gothic in style, but...
Amos, the report. Read this, Carpo. Read it thoroughly. Or should I read it aloud to all here assembled? Should I explain how I came here at the last minute when I learned Iklone was moving to Hubris? That I learned that only by astropathic decryption of a cipher message sent by Iklone 2 months ago? A cipher that killed my astropath in his efforts to translate it?
Inquisitor,
And what about this? The evidence that Iklone has been planning a move against your world for almost a year.
Типа Айклон планировал уже целый год до того, как сюда пришел.
An unregistered starship moved in and out of your orbit to deliver Iklone 3 days ago.
Незарегистрированный корабль доставил его 3 дня назад.
And the Custodian Guardians?
Незамеченный планетарными стражами. Вы были открыты, он вас использовал. Не обвиняйте меня. Кроме того, что я был слишком поздно, чтобы остановить его. Как я сказал, мои сожаления. Когда вы в следующий раз будете конфронтацию изберете с Инквизитором, вы можете захотеть быть больше уважения высказать. Я извиняю вас, потому что типа у вас было за ваши потери, которые вы понесли. Я ожидаю полное ваше сотрудничество в дальнейшем расследовании. Айклон может быть мертв, но он был всего лишь промежуточной точкой и опасным оружием.
This is Chaser Fishing on the Adeptus Arbites. I wanted him present.
Вот реально ощущение, что над ним очень мало работали, даже с точки зрения этой игры. Типа Айклон был исполнителем, прекрасным, но всего лишь исполнителем. Он не имел каких-то привязанностей, он работал для великих схем остальных. Все, что он делал на Хубрисе здесь, было всего лишь чьим-то планом. Теперь я должен найти того, кто его, заказывал ему работу.
You, everyone. This is the Emperor's work. Will you shrink from it?
No, sir, I will not.
Excellent.
I grant my authority. Conduct your work thoroughly and quickly.
Он согласился сотрудничать,
And they are.
но на двух условиях. Докладывать ему во всех находках и позволить его преследователю Фишему помогать нам, как локальный типа гид, как глаза и уши. Я буду благодарен за его помощь. Куда сначала?
They wanted blood, I
Они
remember.
хотели крови, как я понимал. Не хотели, чтобы кто-нибудь ответил за эти смерти.
Something to tell to the rest of the population when they woke to this disaster a few months
Чтобы
later.
было что сказать другому остальному населению, которое проснется еще через 5 месяцев.
Midas, prepare the combat simulator.
Подготовьте боевой симулятор, типа надо испытать нового члена команды.
The combat simulator is ready.
Okay, Chasing a fish egg. Let's see what you've got.
Had enough then? Round 2. Begin.
This would not be my weapon of choice, Inquisitor. Perhaps I could change.
И что он хочет взять? У меня всего нету монет на это. Пока что. Молоток дорого стоит, 4000 аж.
Try changing your weapons before the next round. Use the terminal over there.
Да, мне нужно еще денег. Ну вот, видишь, да. Озвучки нет, озвучки 100% нету.
Here we go.
А книга есть, конечно, на русском.
Have a chambermaid to more fight. Not bad, chasing her. That's a mess you've made of my hold.
Master, I have scrutinized all of iClone's transmissions. They are all in cipher, and it will take some time yet for me to unlock them. But Brother Amos is...
The key is in the lag. During your struggle with the recidivist, he was sending and receiving to someone with a 12.5-minute delay. That's another system.
You're sure?
There are 3 worlds between 11 and 15 minutes lag from Hubris. Thracian, Primaris, Cobalt 2, and Gudrun.
Cobalt is no more than an Imperial watch station. Nothing there.
Thracian is no surprise. That's where we followed him from. But Gudrun? Gudrun's a primary trade world. Old culture, old families.
Old poisons.
Can we be more certain?
I'm sure I can break the cipher, Master. At least for the coded headers, if not the actual text. Given enough time...
Lowink, tell Gregor about the Hubris transmissions.
There were messages sent from Hubris to iClone's ship before he arrived. Not so heavily encrypted. They are rather vague and indirect, but they do discuss something called the Pontius.
The Pontius? Do you have a location?
Why else do you employ us? Thorview 12011, on the west side of the dome, the high rent quarter, Aristo Turf.
You said we were meeting at 2.
I did, didn't I? Just about to come and find you as it happens. We're going to Thorview.
Ну, в общем, вычислили по передаче, скажем так, особняк какой-то семьи, откуда была передача, связанная с тем, что, ну, как бы, с этим персонажем. Собственно, сейчас нужно расследовать, что же там произошло. Ну, как бы, в общем, что там есть.
The wealthiest Hubrites kept winter palaces on the west perimeter of the Sun Dome. According to Chase Nafishik, they enjoyed both light and dark, as if that was something indulgent. They looked inwards to the lit dome and had shutters that could be opened to view the dark landscape of the winter desert. It was a spiritual thing, Amos suggested.
Wait! The area is lousy with laser traps.
Маленький пазл будет.
Most perturbatory. They are triggered by proximity. We will need to pick our way through carefully. Gregor, you should be able to hack this door's security with the Auspex.
Ящик. Там должно быть немного денег.
We need to find a more discreet way in. Perhaps we can find an entrance higher up.
Everything seems to be clear out here. Your scanners must be wrong.
Немножко стелс, он очень простенький здесь.
Either your scanner is wrong, or you're drunk.
You've made a huge mistake.
Немного не по плану пошло.
Croats wasn't wrong. She's a beaut.
Направо там, значит, защита.
Board, board, board.
Who's there?
Inquisition. Who's here? What's your name?
Lisa B.
Full name. I wasn't concentrating on her especially, but there was something about her. An air. A tone.
Elizabeth Beckwin. Pleasure girl. I worked the Sundome these past 4 dormants.
You're here why?
They paid up front. Wanted a party. Oh, lords.
Get dressed. Stay here. I will want to talk to you.
Типа проститутку нашел в особняке. Ну, она так сказала, во всяком случае, себе.
Intruder? An intruder? I heard something.
The pleasure girl was right. There's more than a few of them down there. We should proceed with caution. Looks like a study, Inquisitor. We must surely find something revealing here. Simon Croats. That's not a name I know.
Странно. Ну ладно. захотелось чуваку немножко послушать пение, бывает. Типа можно как бы, ну, воздействуя на их разум, подманивать к себе их, типа, что у них там тревога. Им кажется, что враг.
Patrol 2, are you there? Come in. I'm not taking any chances.
Так. Понятно.
Arm up, boys. Looks like we got ourselves some trouble.
I heard something. Intruder! Intruder. Who's there?
Довольно простенько, конечно, элементарно. С другой стороны, не раздражает.
What was that?
What was that?
Who's there? I heard something.
Опа, мне повезло как. Даже не заметил. Мы сделаем это в стиле ниндзя, как говорил Ник Канг, а потом копипастил Райдер из GTA San Andreas.
Get out of here. Stop playing games.
Нормально на них бабла поднял.
Someone's coming.
What are you doing? Killer!
I know some of these men. Those two are locals, low-grade laborers. Long list of petty convictions on both.
Hired muscle.
Seems to be your man's way. The others are off-worlders.
You found papers?
No, it's just a hunch. None of them have got any ID or markers, and I haven't found a cache anywhere.
Значит, у них какие-то гости были, которые запросили для празднества какую-то девочку или двух. Амасека, который, чтобы не вонял, как фильтрованная моча орка. В общем, некие как бы какие-то гости из других миров были у них здесь. Что-то еще должно быть. Ага, какой-то странный персонаж.
What about this one?
I have rights.
You are in the custody of the Imperial Inquisition. You have no rights whatsoever. Your name?
I will not answer.
He had switched on some mental conditioning, no doubt taught by Iclone. Mind tricks won't help you.
Go screw yourself.
Tell me your name.
Simon Croats.
Godwin Fishig.
Very well, Simon Croats. Where are you from?
Thracian Primaris.
What was your job there?
I was trade envoy for the bonded merchant guild of Synesius.
I knew the name. Guild Synesius was one of the largest mercantile companies in the sector and had links to the imperial nobility.
В общем, он связан с гильдией. Я забыл название того, что на S называлось, которое с другой планеты.
And what brought you to these private apartments?
Namba Wilk, a local trader. He invited me for a mid-dormant feast.
This dwelling is registered to Namba Wilk, a trader, as he says, no priors. I don't know him.
What about Iclone?
I don't know any Iclone.
There was a ring of truth to his voice. He may well not have known Iclone by that name. There is an awful lot of your story that doesn't add up. You're found here consorting with recidivists who we can connect to a planetary conspiracy. There are charges of murder to be considered. We can continue this in far more intimate and comprehensive circumstances. Or you can make me like you by filling in some details now.
I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever you know. About the Pontius, perhaps? Damn it. He was dead. IClone had left fail-safes in the conditioning that would trigger at certain subjects. The Pontius evidently was one of those.
So we know nothing?
We know a great deal. Weren't you listening? For a start, we know the Pontius is the most precious secret they protect.
В общем, Понтиус оказалось словом, которое, как говорится, где было имплантировано у него в мозгу, что оно его убило. Просто произнесенное.
The rooms were filling with the freezing wind from outside the dome. Had to escape, albeit too. Slowly dying in the ice and cold.
What's happening?
We're leaving. The charges were set off by the same spasm that killed Croats. I realized Fishik was now beginning to understand the resources and capabilities of the people we worked against. Their abominable crime at Processional 212 had demonstrated the scale of their malice. But he hadn't seen that firsthand. Arbeits squads moved into the dwelling and secured it while local Medicaid servitors patched our wounds. We returned to the gun cutter, taking Beckwin with us, but little new information. Save that the bonded merchant guild of Synesius may be worth questioning, and that the Pontius was a name with fatal consequences.
It's a common enough name in this subsector. I've turned up over 500,000 citizens with that forename. Another 200,000 with it as a middle name, plus another 40 or 50,000 spelling variants.
What about the definite article?
I have over 9,000 marks with that connection.
Pontius Glor.
Not on my lists.
Because he's dead?
Because he's dead. But it sort of makes sense.
Pontius Glor, the seventh son of Oberon Glor, a wastrel dilettante who fell into heresy, becoming an abominable disciple of chaos. For 15 long years he wrought discord and evil before being slain by the great Absalom Angevin. Gudrun was the ancestral home of the Glors. He may be dead, but the name and the connection were too obvious to ignore.
В общем, был еретик, некий, убитый 15 сколько-то лет назад. Как раз Гудруна, планета, которая тоже попадала под подозрение сейчас, откуда пришел Айклон. И как бы вот был еретик такой Понтиус, как раз Понтиус Гло. Собственно говоря, как раз и здесь говорится, что типа совпадение было слишком очевидным, несмотря на то, что типа он был убит. Но имя как бы продолжало существовать. Меня, конечно, немножко удивляет дизайн корабля, что нельзя на палубу подняться не по лестнице. Удивительно. Ну и сейчас, собственно говоря, их путь, инквизитор и его команда лежит на Гудрун как раз, чтобы связаться с этой вот семьей, кланом торговым точнее. Ну и плюс переговорить с этой.
The Arbite say they will charge me with murder and conspiracy.
Sit down. I can make sure the charges are dropped. I have that authority.
Why would you do that? Even if you clear me, I can't carry on here. I'll be marked as trouble. I'll have to move on again.
You're not from Hubris?
No. I was born on Bonaventure. Got here by way of this and that. I've traveled a lot. Never stayed put for very long.
Because things get difficult.
That's right.
В общем, окажется, что она пария. Это как бы люди, которые антипсайкеры, то есть как бы якобы типа нет души. И псайкерам херово рядом с ними. Очень. От слова очень.
I want to ask you some questions about the men who employed you at Thorview 12011. If you answer helpfully, I can cut you a deal.
Ну и обычные люди тоже как бы не очень уютно чувствуют рядом с ними.
I can take you to Gudrun, or I can offer you employment.
Ева бы сейчас хочет нанять себе ее.
Even big bad inquisitors have needs, huh? That's fine.
You misunderstand. The services I have in mind will be new to you. Not the sort of work you're accustomed to.
You're an odd one, all right. Are all inquisitors like you?
No. Once Fishig returned Iclone's possessions to us from the custodians, Loink and I prepared to conduct an auto-seance. I did not expect to glean much from the process, but it was one of the first techniques I'd learned as an Inquisitor. And it was possible that this close inspection of the psychic residues would reveal something to us.
Вот и сейчас нужно как бы снаряжение Айклона исследовать с помощью психики, чтобы как бы попробовать найти какие-то отметки психические в варпе, оставленные на снаряжении. Не успел.
I can feel the aftertaste of his death. Do not touch it.
Он типа ничего не почувствовал, кроме послевкусия его смерти.
This has a thick, gelatinous aura. Loink, amplify me. De Sumner. I hear De Sumner as a barely audible whisper.
Некое слово «де Sumner», типа как еле какой шепот, типа слышно, как отголоски.
It is cold. Colder than the ministrations of Dormant. Nothing. Nothing but malice.
There was danger. Vile danger. From the casket.
I felt it.
But the whole seance was unseemly, Master. As if distracted and spoiled by some factor.
I can explain. The girl we have aboard is an untouchable.
Keep her away from me.
Just prepping for takeoff. We'll be ready shortly.
And so we left the freezing world of hubris behind, taking Elizabeth and Fishik with us. Betancourt piloted the gun cutter up out of the atmosphere to the Essene awaiting above us in orbit. This vast bulk clipper was a trader, running cargoes of fine wine from Hesperus to Hubris. Tobias Maxilla, the ship's captain, had been recruited by Betancourt to get us to Gudrun in 2 weeks.
Ну, это как бы сейчас на корабле. Типа отправиться по пути к системе Гудрун. Я ж тебя отключил. Нечестно. Ну ладно.
Tobias Maxilla, at your service.
You run this route regularly?
For the past few decades. It's seasonal. Sameta, Hesperus, Tracian, Hubris, Gudrun. Sometimes to Messina, too. When Dormant finishes on Hubris, there'll be a lot more work there.
So, you know these routes well?
Yes, Chastener. I know them well.
I don't think we need to start interrogating Master Maxilla yet, Fishik.
It's a beautiful ship, Maxilla. Classic as old pattern. Unless I'm mistaken. You are, of course, correct, Captain Betancourt. From the shipyards of Tancred, no less. Wait till you see the staterooms. I have quite the collection of beautiful artifacts. Even some portraits from the Sameter school.
I must tell Amos, our savant. I'm sure he will be fascinated.
I will happily give him a tour once we are underway. One cannot pass up the opportunity of cultivated conversation. My entire crew is servitors, which makes them more reliable than pure flesh, but somewhat less loquacious.
Interesting. You don't trust humans?
Inquisitor! It is not a case of trust, simply one of dependability. The Immaterium does not forgive mistakes.
The Essene left Hubris later that day, executed the translation to the Empyrean effortlessly, and made best speed for Gudrun. Maxilla provided quarters for us all in his state apartments, but we spent most of our time on the cutter, working.
Представили капитана.
Sleep patterns had begun to return to normal.
Снова сны, кошмары.
Stalked my dreams once more, leaving the after image of his grinning face each time I woke. At least I assumed it was his face.
Eisenhorn? Feeling cold, Eisenhorn? You cannot stop us, Inquisitor. Your Imperium's days are numbered.
We translated back into real space and entered the Gudrun system on the morning of the 8th day. Here, at the outreach of the system, we would pay our last respects to Loris Vibben. She had joined me in the first place to visit the stars.
Похоронили в космосе погибшую помощницу.
Who was she?
A friend. A comrade.
Is this how she wanted to go?
I don't think she wanted to go at all. Bequin, there is something I have to tell you. I had been avoiding this conversation. She had no idea that she was an untouchable, a blank. Like all untouchables, her negative presence in the warp rendered her immune to psychic influence, which in turn made her a potent anti-psycho weapon. It also meant that she exuded an air of unpleasantness which rose to fear and revulsion in the psychically attuned. Her whole life had been shaped by this, and she had no idea. She did not take the news well. She knew now that her friendless, loveless existence was due to the fact that she was abnormal, and not surprisingly had little interest in the details of the job that I had in mind for her. In truth, I was relieved when Maxilla called me to the bridge.
Inquisitor?
Is there a problem?
I have performed legal maneuvers and entered the trade lane approach. All relevant data is in order and my tariffs are paid. But I've just been informed that we are to be boarded and inspected.
This is unusual?
It's been 10 years since
Запрос инспекции пришел
of my ship.
При входе в
I
систему.
told you there was a founding festival underway. You can see considerable portions of Battlefleet Scarers on station. I think the military is being over-careful of its interests here just now. An inspection launch is on its way. I feel it would facilitate matters if they were met by a ship's master and an Imperial Inquisitor.
I'll agree to be present for the sake of order, provided you can assure me you have nothing to hide.
Inquisitor Eisenhorn,
Save your indignation for the inspection, Maxilla. Your assurance is all I require. If I assist you only to find you have some dirty secret or illicit cargo, you will have a great deal more to worry about than the Imperial Navy.
I have nothing to hide. I fancied you when I had become If not friends, then decent acquaintances, at least this voyage. I have shown you hospitality, and freely given information into your confidence. I am hurt that you still suspect me.
Suspicion is my business, Maxilla. If I have wronged you, my apologies.
Nothing to hide.
Tobias Maxilla?
I am Maxilla.
You have been notified that an inspection of your vessel is due.
Окей, ладно, давай удачи. Короче, заканчивать буду скоро относительно.
Your full cooperation is expected.
You haven't yet identified yourself.
We're naval security.
You could be anybody. I am Gregor Eisenhorn, Imperial Inquisitor. We will do this correctly, or not at all.
You're Eisenhorn?
В общем, по классике Гордона Фримена, по всем его заветам.
You're trapped. Make it easy on yourself.
Оказались, что проверяющие вовсе не проверяющие.
Having escaped from the boarding party, I found myself underneath the airlock.
Как оказалось, в общем, у еретиков ресурсы довольно большие.
Spread out. Don't let him escape.
Ну вот вообще потом дальше достримить ее до конца имеет смысл, если интересно. Потому что если нет, то, конечно, нет смысла особо. Да я так просто не так. В качестве ночного эксперимента.
The clamps had to be disabled.
Alpha 1, come in. What's going on?
Alpha 1 to command. All clear.
Come out, Eisenhorn. There's nowhere to run.
Повезло.
An intruder!
Alpha 1, come in. What's going on? Alpha 2, come in. What's your status?
Alpha 2 to command. No sighting.
Stay alert. He's here somewhere.
What are you doing?
Сундук. Ага, еще нет. Окей. Я полагаю, нам сюда. Как раз можем пройти, был не раньше электро. Забор был.
Bravo 1, come in. Head to
Так как корабль был уничтожен бортовыми орудиями, и некуда отступать
Ready up,
теперь.
men. I'm not leaving till the Inquisitor is dead.
There was no way past the guards. I would have to tackle them head on.
An intruder!
Так.
You're a mess. What the hell happened?
This wasn't an inspection. They were looking for me.
Naval security?
I don't think so. They lacked precision and didn't know procedure.
So my bare facts are revealed to you after all, Inquisitor.
What can I do to help you, Tobias?
I have summoned servitors to assist me. I'll be back on my feet soon enough.
I need access to your astropathic link. I need to contact Battlefleet Command and speed the closure of this matter. These men weren't a naval security detail.
В общем, нужно теперь связаться с командованием, чтобы, ну, как бы, ну, надавить на них, чтобы они скорее, как бы, разобрались с этим происшествием.
There he is. Die, scum. Ready up, Eisenhorn.
Deserters, sir.
Deserters?
From the guard levies. You are aware a founding is presently underway on Gudrun. By order of the Lord Militant Commander, 750,000 men are being inducted into the Imperial Guard to form the 50th Gudrunite Rifles. Such is the size of the founding, and the fact that this is notably the 50th regiment assembled from this illustrious world, that planet-wide celebrations are taking place.
And these men deserted?
The muster was originally to have been 500,000, but the Lord Militant Commander increased the figure a week prior to the founding. He's preparing for a crusade into the Ophidian subsector, and well, many found themselves conscripted with little notice. Between you and me, the great festivities are partly an attempt to draw attention from the matter. There's been some rioting in barracks at the founding area, and desertion.
These are regular draftees? Infantrymen?
Yes.
Who could fly a pinnace?
The ringleader, one John O'Lingard, was a qualified orbital pilot. Worked on the ferries, as I said, a regrettable combination of events.
What about the demand for the inspection?
That came from the pinnace itself. Entirely unofficial, they spotted your ship and improvised.
I don't know who these men are. They may indeed have been guard draftees, but someone set them on this course to find me. Someone who covered their movements, provided materials and transport, and authenticated their business with this ship. Someone either in the battle fleet, or with an outrageous amount of access to its workings. No other explanation fits.
You're talking of a conspiracy?
I'm no stranger to underhand behavior, Madolthine. Nor am I unduly perturbed by attempts on my life, but this shows me my enemies are even more powerful than I suspected.
My lord, I
trust this matter is still held in the highest confidence.
Sir, yes, sir. The Lord Procurator recognized its delicacy. The details of this incident are known only to myself and my squad here. The Lord Procurator and his senior aides.
Then I'd like to keep it that way. I'd like my enemies to believe for as long as possible that this assassination attempt was successful. Can I rely on your cooperation, Prosecutor?
Of course, Inquisitor.
We left the Essene on the gun cutter bound for Gudrun's surface.
Posing as a trade delegation from Sameter, we would meet with the Guild Synesius representative in Dorsey, the planet's northern capital. The ship which transported Iclone to Hubris was docked in the festive capital, and according to Maxilla, its master, Efreed Tanokbre, was planetside. Betancourt went off to investigate, leaving us to our rendezvous with the Guild Synesius representative at the Dorsey Regency.
Sire Farchival, madam, had I known you were visiting, I would have cancelled meets to be here. Forgive my tardiness.
I forgive it. I'll be straight with you, sir. I represent grain merchants on Hesperus, a significant cartel of grain merchants.
What sort of sized cartel are we talking about, sire?
The entire western continent.
And you offer?
A gene-fixed strain of cereal that could be easily managed by many of your landowners now that their workforce is depleted. It is indeed a wonder.
The other guilds are bidding for this product, mister. I do hope Guild Synesius won't miss out.
Is this Xenos cultured?
Would that be a problem?
No, sire, not officially. The Inquisition is, of course, very tight about such things, but that is precisely why we offer these discreet interviews.
I'm pleased to hear it. So a Xenos-cultured cereal strain would not be hard to market?
Naturally not. There are collective enterprises eager for assured crop yields, especially those hothoused by alien technology.
Good, but I want the best return. Simon told me that House Glor should be the first to approach.
Simon?
Simon Croats, the Guild Synesius envoy I dealt with on Hesperus.
Quite so. You wish me to arrange a trade meeting with House Glor?
I think that's what I said, didn't I?
В общем, договорившись с планетарными силами, что как бы не будут распространяться касаемо исхода столкновения на орбите, ну что, по сути, попытка убийства оказалась успешной. И Айзенхорн решил как бы под прикрытием, как бы под видом торговца, ну как бы представителя картеля, встретиться с представителями этого как раз торгового дома, корабль которого, собственно говоря, доставил тогда вот этого террориста на планету Хубрис, на которой, собственно говоря, вот и произошло начало игры. Я думаю, сейчас, наверное, можно все закончить пока стрим. Решайте, я не знаю, стоит ли стримить дальше или нет, это вообще. То есть, делать ли стримы потом по этой игре. Имеет ли смысл. Ладно, тогда удачи всем. Хорошего дня. Уже утро практически в Москве.